Hi there, Serial Trader here. Just gonna have a look at the major US indices, and starting with SPX here on the hourly chart with the Elliott wave labels. Uh, Looks pretty convincing now that we have this minor wave 4 low in place, and that we have a good pivot to work from. And now we're heading up in minor wave 5 of potentially a larger intermediate wave 5, which could further still be a potentially larger, primary or even a cycle wave 5, and we might be looking for a significant peak in the market now. Of course, until we have some sort of evidence, to the downside to start supporting that, it's just kind of a hypothesis at this point. And certainly at this point, we're still, from a trading perspective, looking higher. But just to be aware that we could be approaching some sort of significant top, as we do have, if I just go to the daily chart here, as we do have a significant, or at least the potential, right? Potential for a significant, final kind of Elliott advance out of this triangle. So we had our, big wave 3 peak here in January. We had our A, B, C, D, E, triangle wave 4 put in, very beautiful. Worked nicely. And then we had our 1 up, 2 down out of the triangle, and now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counts nicely for 3. So 3 was obviously an extended wave as compared to 1, which is quite expected. You expect wave 3 to be longer than wave 1 in most cases. Typically wave 3 is the longest in most cases. So this looks good. And now we have this wave 4 pullback likely in place now, and working this potentially final 5th wave up. So that's a little ominous on the horizon here. Although again, from a trading perspective, it doesn't really mean much until it actually starts to embrace that and really get going to the downside. And right now, we're still working our subdivisions to the upside. But yeah, certainly since the last video, looks like we did in fact have a nice bottom there at 28.64.12, and now we've been working our series of higher highs and higher lows, starting to look quite impulsive and trending to the upside. So very likely that soon we'll be taking out the all-time high there, which was at 29.16.50. So let's go to the candlestick chart of SPX. So nice gap up today. Closed in the upper range of the day, well above the T line and the 3T line. 3T line is crossing above the T line. Again, I'll just point out we found nice support off that 20-day simple moving average, which is quite a healthy level to consolidate down to. Stochastic oscillator appeared to bottom in a similar range to a previous pullback over here, and now we're crossing up. Nowhere near overbought, so certainly the door is open to further advance here before we would be, looking overbought again on the oscillator. And basically, yeah, just all systems are a bull. Every moving average pointing up. All the shorter term moving averages above the longer term moving averages. So very much in alignment for further upside here. Of course, also after that bullish engulfing candlestick that we had, let's see, a couple days ago, definitely had nice follow through from that. So that was a nice signal, as it often is. All right, we'll move on to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And Dow, yeah, we're on a breakout on the Dow here. So we've gotten above the most recent resistance level there, which was at 26,168. So we've so far gone as high as 26,192. And it's, I think it's quite likely, as there's really not really much resistance left at this point, other than the all-time high at 26,617. And yeah, on the Dow, well above the T line, 3T line, 3T line's well above the T line. All moving averages are in bullish alignment here, so certainly looking higher in the Dow as well. And certainly some individual industrial names looking great on their own, like Boeing, Caterpillar. I've pointed those out recently as individual, charts, and they certainly look like they have a lot of upside potential. And those are some big industrial names in the Dow. So you can certainly see it getting carried higher with that kind of set up on those names. And NASDAQ composite. Let's have a look here. So the NASDAQ composite had its own nice bullish engulfing candlestick. Certainly significant intraday volatility the following day, although we didn't actually take out the low of the bullish engulfing candlestick. So that low was at 78.80.92, and the low of the next day was 78.84.05. So came down, certainly tested the low of the bullish engulfing candlestick, but didn't take it out, so it remained valid. Then we actually put in a bullish hammer signal on a closing basis, so pretty big intraday volatility on the NASDAQ there, but again, still holding on a closing basis above that 20-day simple moving average. And then obviously today, good confirmation. And well above the T-line, and now the 3 T-line is crossing above the T-line. So NASDAQ looking good for more upside as well. And just again, highlighting the power of the bullish engulfing candlestick. It often works, even though it's so simple. It's quite effective. I've pointed it out many times over the course of all these videos, and definitely more often than not, it works. And the stochastic oscillator appears to have found its bottom. Looks like we're crossing up, and plenty of room for that to run to the upside before we be in overbought condition again. So NASDAQ looking bullish along with everything else. We'll go to the VIX just to touch on that. And as one would expect, with the equity strength resuming, VIX has just gone right back down, closing at 1237. And again, I'll highlight it never really was able to break out in the first place. Never even broke the most recent resistance level at 1686. So VIX, again, just in a bullish condition for stocks as long as it remains in a, sideways to downward trend, which it certainly is. All right. Well, we'll certainly check up again after tomorrow's close, on the weekend sometime. All right. Serial Trader signing off.